Wake up, kid. Wake up. Oh, feisty. Oh, I swear you wannabe heroes get younger and younger every single year. Don't bother. Voodoo's worked her magic on you. You won't remember how to use your quirk for at least another hour. But please, feel free to keep trying. You'll tire yourself out eventually. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I've heard it all before. You'll never get away with this. Good always triumphs. I don't know how those UA goons brainwash you kids to actually believe that garbage. Oh, don't look so scared. Brow twisted into such an angry face, but still can't hide the fear in your eyes. Shh. If I wanted to hurt you, I would have done it already. You and I are going to have a little chat. As much as I hate to admit it, you have potential, and that makes you valuable. No doubt UA has drilled the empty promises of honor and altruism into your pliable psyche. Follow the rules, do as you're told, don't step out of line, and eventually you'll be a great hero that will save the day. What an honorable future. Look, kid, you're young and dumb, so I'll give you a pass. I was the same way when I was your age, but like me, you will have to eventually grow up and look at the world for what it is, not what everyone tells you it should be. So long as there are rich and poor, weak and strong, tall and short, there will always be conflict. It's human nature. If heroes made even the slightest difference, don't you think things would be getting better than they already are? How many registered heroes are there in Japan? 1,000? 2,000? And that's not even counting the police. These heroes work night and day stopping villains and locking them away, and yet the number of villains just keeps rising. Why is that? The hero registry licenses, a few hundred new pro heroes every year, and yet crime is through the roof. What do you think is the cause? What could drive a perfectly respectable citizen to a life of crime? At a loss for words or just defiant? I know they have classes at UA about sociology and psychology, nothing to contribute. Don't worry, I will enlighten you. It's the warehouse worker who gets passed up for a promotion because the new guy is telekinetic. It's the medical student who doesn't quite make the class cutoff because her quirk is just not quite medical enough. It's the quirkless person who spent their entire life in the shadow of their peers. It's the fact that the world isn't fair. Never was, never will be. And some people will realize on their own or with a little help that even if society won't help them, nothing is outside their reach if they're willing to take it. Of course, I'm not referring to you. You are far from the Combini clerk who can make himself glow if he thinks real hard. No, you and I both know just how special you are. Let's face it, kid. Some people are better than others. You can cry about it, you can argue till you're blue in the face, but we all know it's true. It's the reason UA is hard to get into. How many people did you step on to secure your place in Class 1A? Hundreds? Maybe even thousands? The entrance exam is little more than a razor that cuts the useless from the useful, the weak from the strong. How many of those who failed the exam, rejected by the institution they strive so hard to get into, became those who they strive to fight? I can tell you, kid, it's not a few. Let me explain how the world works. A little class of my own. You've been taught your whole life that you are at the bottom. Your parents are in charge of you, and their bosses are in charge of them, and the company's in charge of them, and the police and the politicians, and on and on and on up the social ladder. Well, let me tell you, it's all a lie. You have been taught from birth that the good guys are the ones who follow the rules and sacrifice themselves to save others. What a noble existence. to give up your life so someone you don't know and never will might. Maybe one day, if you work hard enough, you too can have a sidekick under you, or maybe even your own agency. Then you'd really be on top, right? Wrong. The Hero Licensing Bureau will shut you down if you don't file the appropriate paperwork. The police can and will arrest you whether you're guilty or not. Any number of governmental agencies can crush you and everything you've built overnight without recourse or reason. Don't believe me? Well, the next time you're in class, put up your hand and ask about what happened to the hero Fulminate. Just a normal pro-hero, a good one too. At 27, he started his own agency and employed 12 heroes just like him. Then, 2 years after starting the agency, one day, out of the blue, 3 square blocks of downtown are leveled by an explosion. Over 40 dead. Fulminate wasn't even near the epicenter at the time, yet the police came knocking at his door the next morning. The secretary at Fulminate's agency had misread the district code where he was patrolling and submitted it to the Hero Association. You see, it said that he was working near the epicenter where the blast took place. Despite him not matching the witness descriptions or appearing on any of the security cameras before the blast. The misfiled paperwork and his quirk alone were enough to arrest and charge him. He was charged with improper force and 30 counts of misuse of a quirk causing death. He was sentenced to no less than 23 years in maximum security prison. In one night, Fulminate had lost everything he'd worked for up to that point. The system he swore to protect had turned on him without mercy or justice. He spent 7 years in prison before the facts of what happened came to light. It wasn't a hero. It wasn't even a villain. It was a gas leak in the abandoned maintenance tunnels under the city. The police and press were so eager to pin this tragedy on someone they didn't even consider it could have been a random event. But that's not even the worst part. To protect the Hero Association's public image and the police force, they buried the story that he was released and threatened private journalists from reporting on it. Fulminate spent 7 years of his life in prison for a crime he didn't do, and even after he was released, no public apology, no reinstatement of his hero license or agency, just reimbursement for lost wages and a non-disclosure agreement. The only reason anyone knows about this is the foreign press who ran the story. Easily one of the biggest scandals in the history of the Hero Association, and you think anyone went to jail for it? The police commissioner? The Hero Association lobbyists? Of course not. They all got to keep their jobs and lives uninterrupted. The agencies that oversee the activities of heroes don't exist to protect the public, and they certainly don't exist to protect the heroes. Like all bureaucratic nightmares, they exist to protect themselves and nothing more. And if and when you screw up, that same system will have no problem throwing you under the bus, just like they did to Fulminate. The rules you enforce today will be used against you tomorrow. Not if, but when. Still so eager to leave. Oh, I haven't even finished making my case. What, do you have a homework to do? Plan on getting together with your friends and seeing a movie? Fine, I'll make it short. You see, kid, people like you and me aren't meant to be at the bottom. Take away the concrete jungle, the illusion of society. People like us would be at the top of the food chain. Kings, gods, ruling over everything beneath us. Of the masses, none would dare to oppose us lest they be crushed. It's this world, this so-called order imposed on us that's clipped our wings and forced us to bow to the mediocre at the top. Does that seem fair to you? Raw power forced to bow to a dog head of police and a quirkless mayor. Now, neither myself nor my boss can give you your rightful place atop your kingdom, but we can offer you power. Much more than a petty pro-hero could possibly wield. I represent a collective of the like-minded, a syndicate, if you will. We hold a place in the police, the Hero Association, even the government. Our edict, the undeniable truth. The powerful belong atop the weak. And we want you to join us. What is it you want? Power, prestige, wealth, your own little slice of paradise? None of it is out of the question. Even if you want to pretend to be a hero with all the perks and none of the drawbacks. Hear me out. How does this sound? Your own little chunk of the city that you can do with as you like. You make that stupid face like I'm joking. There are thousands of us, but it's a massive city. Chiseling off a little chunk for you would help us just as much as it would help you. And then, so long as you help the organization here and there, you can do with it as you please. Want to play hero? With our help, you could drop petty crime to zero and walk around the savior of your domain. Or you can let crime flourish and take a big cut. So long as you play ball, neither myself nor my associates could care less. Or maybe you're looking for a little more name recognition. With our resources, we've sent pro heroes to the moon and back. Brand deals, interviews, public acclaim. You wouldn't even have to stick your neck out and do any real work. Your brand influence would be worth far more than a few $1 million contracts to us. Or maybe you just want to prove that you are the best. Put your skills against the best heroes the city has to offer. Take on jobs and contracts your UA professors couldn't even dream of. Prove to everyone that you are in fact the best there ever was, and make an ungodly sum of money in the process. That is the reality I offer you, kid. Real power, not this watered-down feeling of self-accomplishment. Still don't believe me? Fine. One more story and I'll let you go on your merry way. You and I aren't so different. When I was young, I dreamt of being a hero. It was before All Might took over as the symbol for hope, but I still used to look up to the pro heroes. I did everything right. Got into a good school, honed my skills, got into a respectable hero agency, the whole 9 yards. I made it. Achieved every dream my young self could have imagined. With my quirk, like with yours, I was untouchable. But you know what? No matter how powerful I was restricted by the very agencies that I swore to protect. It was the District 14 cartel. My partner and I had nabbed one of the cartel's generals who was running an illegal casino out the basement of a laundromat. Nasty piece of work. Name of Sven the Butcher. Was wanted in connection to a couple dozen murders. Got him and about 20 thugs and $1.5 million in cash and drugs. As I led him out to the police, he was laughing. Told us we had no idea who we were dealing with and that all of us would suffer the dishonor we caused him. I paid it no mind. After all, I trusted the system. Imagine my surprise when 4 days later that very same general was out on a technicality. The cartel's lawyers greased the right palms and he was a free man out on bail. I begged the agency to go back out and get him, but it was out of their hands. After all, the justice system had proclaimed him to be a free man until he was to stand trial. Of course, all of us were eager and ready to testify against him, just had to wait a couple of weeks till the trial. The first to die was my old partner. They found him with his wife and son shot up in the remains of their house. He was a good person, an empath. He knew when people were lying. A decent shot, but without a combat quirk, he didn't stand a chance. We all knew who did it. But this was in police jurisdiction now, out of our hands. The next was my boss and her fiancé, lit up in their car at a red light. Then my friends one by one. Jax, bombardier, siren, and then it was my turn. A car of thugs pulled up while I was making dinner, made their way up to my apartment and kicked in the door. But I am different than my boss and my partner and my friends. I was ready for them. Pop, pop, pop. One by one, I reduced their screaming bodies to splatters of blood and tissue in my living room. With a little convincing, the last thug told me that Sven was nearby in his limo and personally oversaw the killing of my friends. So what were my options? Call the police, just so they could show up 10 minutes late when Sven was already gone? Probably arrest me, charge me with excessive use of my quirk even though I was the one who was attacked? Maybe I should go to bed. Go into the office the next day and look at all of the empty lockers of my dead friends. It was all just so simple. There was no such thing as justice, no authority, no protection. There is only power. Those with it and those without it. My friends didn't die because they were killed. They died because they were too weak to stop it. Why should I have to wait around for legal bureaucracy to bring justice when it's more than within my power to dispense it where I see fit at will? I didn't stop with Sven the Butcher. In less than 24 hours, I did what the police department and Hero Association couldn't in nearly 13 years. I eradicated the District 14 cartel. Every member, every accomplice, every informant. Never again could the cartel murder or rob or scam some innocent person. The guns and drugs and illegal equipment in District 14 dried up overnight, saving countless lives. Did I get a parade? A handshake from the mayor and key to the city? Of course not. The police put out a warrant for my arrest, and my fellow heroes, some I went to school with, were ordered to hunt me down. My face was plastered on every TV and billboard across the city, and in all neighboring boroughs for hundreds of miles. District 14 cartel ran rampant for 13 years and killed hundreds of dissidents, heroes, and police, not to mention untold with drugs and guns. A couple of 30-second news stories and a half-page memorial for my friends in the newspaper. I rid this city of a couple hundred scum, and the chief of police labels me on television a dangerous villain who needs to be stopped at any cost. Some justice, eh? That was when the Syndicate got in contact with me. They didn't care what I did. If anything, the other members thanked me for ridding this unstable force from the streets. I liked what they had to say, and had nowhere else to go anyway, so I joined them. Overnight, it was business as usual. Not a word from the police, not a peep from the media. Without the 24/7 manhunt coverage and packs of police roaming the streets, I was forgotten in less than a week. My bank accounts were restored. I was given a new car and a penthouse apartment until I could afford a place of my own. Make no mistake, I am unbelievably powerful. But that snap of the finger, and the world forgets about you and what you've done. That is real power. Now just imagine what that kind of power can do for you. You're graduating from UA next year, isn't that right? Looking for a practicum over the summer? How does Endeavor's agency sound? Or maybe you want to spend the summer abroad. Captain Celebrity Corporation in America might be a good change of pace. It would be effortless to get you in a spot. Call it a sign of good faith. Whatever. You want to waste your summer at Sar-Tech again, be my guest. You can't join the Syndicate till you graduate anyway. Just remember what I said about the weak and the powerful. spend too much time among the worthless, and you risk becoming one yourself. I'll be in touch.